My heart is so full of praise this morning because I'm reflecting on this year. Let me go back a little bit. In 2015, I founded a school called the Living Water School. The first almost 6 years of the school it was a regular Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with aftercare till about 6 p.m. type school. Traditional, not charter, not public. It's a Christian school. When the virus came, about a month before it got to America, my husband made the suggestion that even though the schools weren't closed down or anything, because he was watching the news, he said, you should really try to make sure the school is ready to go online in case there's a shutdown. And this was really important advice because the school was unique. It wasn't your traditional sit in a class all day, do paperwork, and have 10-minute recess and 10-minute lunch type school. It was it was a mixture of a classical education and a model called the Sudbury model. Now, classical education believes in teaching Latin, teaching logic. Kids defend a thesis. It's very literary based. They read a lot of works from the canon, as we read a lot of diverse literature as well. We bring that in conversation with the canon. They learn. They have music, art, dance. It's also a democratic school where the kids vote on field trips and events and what curriculum they want to use. They make a lot of the major decisions in the school, and there are lots of pockets throughout the day where kids are just free to connect in community without adult intrusion. We're there supervising and being guides, but the students just kind of pursue their own interests, create different what they call corporations, where they are doing things and activities they enjoy, whether it be basketball, sewing, art, dance, playing with baby dolls. There was a baby doll corporation. So everything is based on this kind of freedom and human interaction. We also will have something called seminar where kids and staff read something together and discuss it in open dialogue. And there's just a lot of aspects of it that being an online school would have be very difficult if we didn't think it through. Like we couldn't pull that off online without time to think it through. So we had 30 days exactly. We didn't realize it, but by listening to my husband's suggestion, the whole school took 30 days to plan what would we look like as a virtual school. Because if the school shut down, we didn't want to lose families. We want students to lose their progress, their educational journey. And so we did. We kept meeting with parents, students, staff regularly, and we created this whole online world. We figured out at the time we were using just kind of a mix of things. We now use primarily Google Classroom, which has really helped us become even more solidified. But the shutdown happened on a Friday. We were in school on Monday, and we've never missed a beat. In fact, we finished our accreditation with Middle States through that process. And we got more students. We started enrolling students from out of states. And before long, we began to realize that being an online school was not just to get through the virus. It was a new calling on the school's life. And a lot of people questioned it because people really feel like kids need to be in a school setting. And I do believe kids need to be socialized, but schooling as it's done primarily in America in this real industrialized, mass productive way, I don't always feel is healthy. It's not for every child. I'll say like that. I know it works for some, but some kids are very traumatized by that experience. And so our families realized that their children became mentally, emotionally, spiritually more healthy by being at home. And their academics. Some students noticed that they were able to focus more on their academics by being at home. And so we are small. We have about 40 students. We don't want to have more than 60. But each of our families pretty much set up a classroom in their house, and our teachers meet their kids online. It is an extremely interactive, live process, and our kids are learning. They are growing. The school is growing. When the virus ended and everything opened back up, and the Department of Education reached out to me, 2 years ago that it was time for me to go back into the building. For me to be a legal Maryland school, we would have to go back in our building. They were kind of calling around and checking in on what our plans were with that. And I didn't realize this, but I said, well, we're going to stay online. And I was told you have to go in the building to be a legal school in Maryland. And if you don't get in your building or somebody's building in 30 days, we're going to close your school down. You will not be able to legally give diplomas or credits or anything like that in the state of Maryland. And so I'm a person that has always tried to make sure I followed the laws of the land when starting our school. I did not, but I really read the laws of the land for being a legitimate Maryland approved Christian school. And so that gave me 30 days to find a school that met all of the rules, because Maryland does not make it necessarily very easy for there to be private schools or Christian schools, because there's a lot of laws. Like, you have to be on 5 acres. You have to have a certain amount of parking spaces. You have to have a certain size fence that gives each student like 100 square feet. It's that the building we were in was 10 acres and it had all of that. The building used to have a school, so we just were able to move right in. And so that building was already leased to someone else. We gave up our lease. So we had 30 days to find a Maryland property that met the rules of the state of Maryland to be a school. Now, some people think that when you're a Christian school, if you're church exempt, you can put a school anywhere, and that's not true. So if you're listening to this and operating a school without following these laws of the land, your school is actually illegal, and you may get away with it. But as a woman of God, I feel like I should do everything the Lord commands me to obey the laws of the land. So I chose to follow the rules. So I prayed about it, and I said, God, I don't know where to go. And the Lord dropped in my heart to go check out Virginia. Our school was in Maryland, but it was literally on the Virginia and Maryland line, like 5 minutes to Virginia. And so we just had to cross a bridge. So within that moment of me having that thought, my husband emails me and says, have you thought about Virginia? Look at what I found. Within 24 hours, we were able to move our operations to Virginia. We were able to obtain a virtual address. Virginia allows for all types of schools to exist: private, Christian, non-Christian, and virtual schools. All we had to do was register our business, and we got our license to be a school. And then within another 24 hours, God provided us a building. And the reason why we wanted a building is because we decided that if we were going to move to Virginia, we wanted to be able to create a presence and have a space where, even though we're online, that we can have our events, we can set up our offices, because the school was really growing, where students who live in the area could come and meet and gather and go to field trips and hike and play on the playground and stuff. And within another 24 hours, God provided us a building with a really reasonable rent in Old Town Alexandria. And here we are. We've been doing this for 2 years, and we are accredited. Our students are getting into the colleges of their choice. Our numbers are growing. We have a beautiful building decorated with beautiful art that shows diversity, and it feels like home. And I cannot tell you, now our school overall, from the time we were started as an in-person school to the time we now are a virtual/hybrid school, 10 years. We are finishing our 9th year at the end of May. From the day we started, this was an impossible task. We have met so many obstacles, and the Lord has never failed to see us through. He has never failed to provide everything we needed to exist. This is His work. And my heart is full, and I felt like I needed to make a video to give testimony to the goodness of God, to His miraculous hand of sustaining the Living Water School. And we're going into our 10th year, and we never could have done it without God. So I want to give that testimony right now, giving all honor and glory to God for this K through 12th grade school that exists only through the miraculous hand of God.